What is going on, guys? We are back. Today, we got a special video lined up because I'm about to be predicting every single UFC champion by the end of 2026, guys. Key word here, key number, 2026. I am not predicting all of this to happen by this year. This is not by the end of 2025. This is a year and a half from now. I am about to be 100% spot on, guys. The script has been leaked. I got the script for the UFC. I'm going to tell you who's going to be the UFC champion in every single men's division by the end of 2026. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Starting from heavyweight, going down to flyweight. Heavyweight, I feel like this one's pretty obvious. I feel like if you ask 95% of the UFC community, everybody's going to give you the same answer, and I think it is going to be Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall, a man who's in his prime, a very young fighter for heavyweight. Also, his prime's getting ruined because John Jones is technically the UFC champion. We all know Tom Aspinall is the undisputed champion. We're going to be hearing that very, very soon, according to Dana White, because John Jones has made it very clear that he does not want to smoke. He does not want to fight Tom Aspinall. So that fight's not going to happen. So I'm expecting to hear the news a couple weeks from the recording of this video. Tom Aspinall will be promoted to the undisputed heavyweight champion. And guys, the heavyweight division is so bad. It's terrible. I need you to tell me who in the heavyweight division is testing Aspinall for his title. Who's giving him a tough fight besides John Jones? You know, we're going to throw out Volkov. I know Volkov looks good as of recent, but Aspinall's already beat him. We're going to go Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane could be potentially a tough test, man. He could make it out of the first round. Cyril Gane has no grappling, brother. Who give him? Nobody. Somebody has to check this, okay? Tom Aspinall. What about like a Sergey Pavlovich, man? He knocked him out in a minute or 2 minutes. Curtis Blades, we've seen that fight twice now. Fluke injury. And Tom Aspinall got it back. Knocked him out in 1 minute, guys. Maybe Jelton Almeida? Jelton Almeida, the same guy that got KO'd by Curtis Blades? I'm just saying, man, I don't see anybody in the heavyweight division right now that is going to be, you know, any sort of threat to Tom Aspinall. I could potentially see in the future, maybe even this year, I could see this fight being next in the heavyweight division. I could see Alex Pereira jumping up to heavyweight, trying to become a 3-division champion against Tom Aspinall. And you know what? I'd be super excited for that fight, but I don't see Pereira winning that fight either. Tom Aspinall's too big. Honestly, I would not be surprised. I think Tom Aspinall would still have the speed advantage, even though he's the bigger athlete. I honestly think he would. He'd be a lot younger. And the thing about Pereira, world-class striker, world-class kickboxer, obviously. But I think the speed of Aspinall is going to be a problem. Obviously, the power. But I still think Tom Aspinall will be able to take Pereira down at will. I know Pereira has showcased great takedown defense. But that's at 205. This is a whole different thing. This is 265 pounds. So with all this being said, this is in no way, shape, or form a hot take. Tom Aspinall will be the heavyweight champion by the end of 2026. Let's keep it rolling. Light heavyweight, we've got Magomed Ankalaev, the current light heavyweight champion. Man, I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to throw in Yuri Prochazka right here, man. I just couldn't do it. I just could not do it. Y'all know I love Yuri Prochazka. Yuri Prochazka brings a lot to the table against Magomed Ankalaev. He poses a lot of new threats, you know, unorthodox samurai spirit, man. Yuri Prochazka could get it done against Magomed Ankalaev. But if that fight does get booked, I don't think he's going to do it. I think we're going to get a great scrap. I think we're going to get a great fight. But Magomed Ankalaev, again, not even a world-class wrestler, but he has the takedown threat. We saw how it works wonders. It opens up different possibilities, different opportunities. Ooh, those are big words, by the way. But it opens up tremendous, that's another big word, opportunities on the feet. We saw it in the Pereira fight, okay? Magomed Ankalaev was landing some good shots on the feet against Pereira, who's arguably the best striker in the UFC. I see some similarities in a fight with Yuri Prochazka. Yuri Prochazka seems to be new and improved. If you look at the Jamal Hill fight, I know Jamal Hill is very flat-footed. He really is not a better striker than Magomed Ankalaev. Magomed Ankalaev, underrated striking, very precise, very sharp, very accurate. But you know, Yuri, very unpredictable. He's showcased some head movement. You know, he doesn't like to block shots with his hands. He likes to block shots with his face. But he's developed some sort of head movement. Maybe he is a truly new and improved Yuri Prochazka. I think he's the second hardest hitting light heavyweight on the roster behind Pereira. But again, I think Magomed Ankalaev is that guy. I know he's not necessarily my favorite fighter, not necessarily the most entertaining fighter. I don't think he's boring. I'm not saying that, but he's just on another level, bro. He's on another level. The light heavyweight division is also pretty bad. Nobody is testing Magomed Ankalaev right now outside of Pereira and Yuri. And Pereira, from what I'm hearing, we all expected and anticipated. I'm throwing out big words, guys. This is a vocab lesson. If you don't like my MMA content, I at least hope you can like the vocabulary lessons. But Magomed Ankalaev apparently has stated that Alex Pereira has turned down multiple rematches with Magomed Ankalaev. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know how accurate it is. It probably is true. I also heard that Yuri turned down a title opportunity because he was taking his exams, man. That is the most Yuri way possible to turn down a fight. But anyway, whether it's true or whether it's not, even if Pereira does fight Magomed Ankalaev again, I see more success for Ankalaev. I could potentially see Magomed Ankalaev finishing the fight this time. But then a fight with Yuri Prochazka, again, very unpredictable. But I got to lean with Magomed Ankalaev there. I would always back my boy Yuri, but I think Ankalaev's just too good, man. Let's keep it rolling. Besides that, I don't see Carlos Ulberg testing Magomed Ankalaev. Jan Blachowicz is too old. I don't see Khalil Roundtree winning that fight. Not Jamal Hill, but you get it, man. Let's keep it rolling. On to the middleweight division. Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev scheduled to fight Dricus du Plessis in August, guys. We can only hope that fight does not get canceled. Please, Khamzat, please don't pull out. This is probably my most anticipated fight of the year. Definitely that's at least confirmed. I'm more hyped for this fight over Topuria Charles, even though I'm very excited for that one as well. But can Khamzat Chimaev finally claim gold? People forget, man, Khamzat Chimaev is supposed to be a triple champ by now. I'm serious. That's the type of hype, that's the type of glaze this man got. And I'm going to be honest, I think it's justified. The talent is there. Generational talent for sure for Khamzat Chimaev. Possibly the most dangerous grappler we've ever seen in UFC history. But there's been some complications, pulling out of fights, missing weight, some health issues, man. Really, pushed back this man's potential. But I think it's finally time. I think he's finally going to fight Dricus du Plessis. And although I see a lot of people picking Dricus to win that fight, via plot armor, via oopsie daisy, I think Khamzat's going to get it done, man. I think Khamzat is the man to crack the plot armor of Dricus du Plessis. And I think Khamzat Chimaev is going to reign for as long as he wants to. I don't see him losing to anybody in the middleweight division. I see him beating Dricus du Plessis. Let me glaze real quick, guys. I see him beating Nasruddin Imavov. I see him beating Caio Borralho. Izzy's not going to be fighting for the title. As much as I would love that fight, even if Izzy got back to a title shot against Khamzat Chimaev, I don't even think he has a chance. And I think you could say the same thing about Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's getting done worse than Robert Whittaker did. But honestly, Khamzat Chimaev, if he wants to, I could also see Khamzat Chimaev be the type of fighter to win the belt and retire early. Obviously, I don't want that to happen. I hope he stays around as long as he can continue fighting at a high level. But I could see it, man. I could see it. Honestly, I could see him defending the middleweight title a couple times, or maybe just jumping straight to 205. I could see Khamzat Chimaev trying to jump up and become a double champ. I could see it. I don't know if him and Magomed Ankalaev are buddies. I'm not sure. But that is definitely a possibility in the future. If Khamzat Chimaev beats Dricus du Plessis, nobody's beating him. Nobody at 185 is beating Khamzat Chimaev. But let's keep it rolling on to welterweight. This one might be controversial, okay? Jack Della Maddalena, the newly crowned welterweight champion of the world, just defeated Belal Muhammad. I know what you're thinking, man. What about Islam, man? What about Islam? Y'all know I love Islam. Islam is one of my favorite fighters on the roster. I kind of think JDM beats him, man. I think JDM is a stylistic nightmare for Islam Makhachev. I really do. Islam Makhachev, pound for pound, #1 fighter in the world, and rightfully so. He's great, but he's moving up in weight, fighting a bigger, stronger fighter. And Jack Della Maddalena, exceptional boxing, has an argument for the best boxer in the UFC. Definitely top 3. I would say top 2. But JDM just fought Belal Muhammad, who, Belal is not Islam. He's not as skilled as Islam. I'm not saying that. But JDM showcased exceptional takedown defense. And the 3 times, I believe he got taken down 3 times. The couple times he did get taken down, JDM scrambled back up to his feet. Now, I know what you're thinking. Islam Makhachev, a whole different threat. If JDM tries to scramble against Islam, there's a threat that Islam could hop on, a Darce choke, maybe a front headlock position, transition into some type of submission. Yes, Bilal Muhammad does not have that. But I don't know if Islam's going to be able to take JDM down. And if he does get him down, let's say a couple times, again, I believe in JDM's physicality, his ability to scramble back up to his feet. And I think he's going to get back up to his feet as long as he can keep his neck safe. Man, he's been training with Craig Jones, man. I think he will. He's going to be able to get back up to his feet. And we have seen Islam Makhachev struggle with boxers, man. That's just the truth. We have seen Islam Makhachev. Look at the Dustin Poirier fight. Dustin Poirier showed pretty good takedown defense against Islam. And we all know, some people think Dustin Poirier is the best boxer in UFC history, man. It's not true, but he's definitely one of them. JDM's better. JDM's also bigger. JDM is also younger. And not only that, man, Jack Della Maddalena also has more power. Now, Dustin Poirier did not really hurt Islam Makhachev. He didn't really have him hurt, have him rocked or anything. He did slice him open. But JDM has the potential to really pop Islam's head back. I don't know if JDM's going to be able to knock him out, but he very well could. I don't know if that's going to happen, but he definitely can, okay? I think JDM wins this fight. And then you look past that, the welterweight division is generational right now. We got Ian Gary, man. We got Kamaru Usman back in the win column. We got Shavkat Rakhmonov. We've got Sean Brady. We've got Bilal Muhammad still. Michael Morales is on the rise, guys. There's so many good contenders in that 170 division. I think JDM beats all of them, man. I know this is glaze. Y'all might say this is glaze, but Jack Della Maddalena, he already beat Bilal. I think he beats Kamaru Usman. I think he beats Islam, like we already talked about. My opinion may change on that the closer we get. But as of right now, I think JDM defeats Islam. I think he beats Shavkat. That's going to be a hot take to some of you. Shavkat, big head. Shavkat, really good at everything. Not elite anywhere. Is Shavkat going to be able to get JDM to the ground? I would not say Shavkat has better wrestling than Bilal Muhammad. He does have better striking, a little bit more power, a lot more power, but I think JDM is going to be safe on the feet. I think JDM is going to touch up Shavkat bad. Shavkat has a big head, doesn't move his head too often. He gets hit a lot. Look at the Jeff Neal fight. Jeff Neal, pretty good boxing, pretty good power. Jeff Neal had some really good moments in the Shavkat Rakhmonov fight. He was stunning him. He rocked Shavkat. JDM is only bigger, maybe not bigger, but he's only better and sharper than Jeff Neal. A lot sharper than a Jeff Neal, a lot younger than a Jeff Neal. I think he's going to batter Shavkat Rakhmonov if they were to fight. And then to me, the hardest stylistic matchup for JDM would be Sean Brady. And Sean Brady, exceptional athlete. He has pretty underrated boxing. He's got pretty good boxing. It's not on the level of JDM. I give JDM the advantage on the feet. I think JDM also has a power advantage. Sean Brady's path to victory would obviously be to wrestle, get this fight to the ground, try to lock up a submission. But Sean Brady has not been able to hold guys down like that, except for Leon Edwards. If you look at the Gilbert Burns fight, Sean Brady did land a handful of takedowns, but he could not hold Gilbert Burns down. He couldn't. If you can't hold Gilbert Burns down, can you hold JDM down, who potentially could be coming off a fight with Bilal Muhammad and Islam Makhachev, two similar styles in a way. He's been training anti-grappling multiple camps in a row. He's going to be prepared for a guy like Sean Brady, and I think he could win that fight as well. All right, guys, enough with the Jack Della Maddalena glaze. I'm sorry. JDM, I think he's exceptional. He's like 27, maybe 28 years old, man. He's just now entering his prime. Could be the champion for a while. Let's keep it moving. Here's your boy. Here's my boy. Islam, not the religion, Makhachev. I think, guys, I know what you're thinking. He just vacated the lightweight title. Yes, he did. He's moving up to welterweight. He's going to fight JDM. You just heard in the last slide that I think JDM wins that fight. If JDM defeats Islam Makhachev, I don't see Islam sticking around at 170. I don't. What's he going to do? Fight Kamaru Usman in a non-title fight? Maybe. I think he goes back down to 155 and immediately fights for the title once again. Now, whether that's Ilia Topuria, whether that's Charles Oliveira, whether that's Arman Sarukian, I don't know. Very likely it's going to be Ilia Topuria. I think Islam wins that fight, though. I do think Islam defeats Ilia Topuria. It's going to be tough, especially if he gets knocked out by JDM or takes a beating from JDM. Cutting more weight, he's going to have to take time off. He's only getting older. I still think he beats Ilia Topuria, man. I think the grappling is going to be too much. It's hard to say about Ilia Topuria right now because we haven't seen him at lightweight yet. I know we've seen him against Jai Herbert, man. That's not a Charles Oliveira. We'll have to see how he does with the physicality, with the size of Charles do Bronx Oliveira, and especially the grappling of do Bronx. We'll have to see. But I believe if Islam Makhachev does lose to JDM, I could see him going back down to 155, fighting Ilia Topuria, and winning that fight. Tell me you cannot see this. If Islam does not defeat JDM, guys, I'm not saying it's impossible at all. It's a very close matchup. But if Islam does not beat JDM and Ilia Topuria continues to wins the lightweight title, I could so see the beef, reigniting. Because Ilia Topuria has his sights set on Islam Makhachev. He wants to take out Islam. But if Islam loses, I could see Ilia Topuria trying to go, trying to become big boss and basically telling Islam that he doesn't deserve a title shot. I can see it, bro. I promise you, you cannot tell me you cannot see that storyline. Ilia versus Islam is a super fight. Again, not going to be as hype, I guess, if Islam loses to JDM, but I think it's still going to be a super fight. These are two, honestly, goats of the sport at this time. If Ilia Topuria beats Charles Oliveira, he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. I would probably put him in my top 10. And if Ilia beats Charles Oliveira and then beats Islam Makhachev, we have to have some serious talks, guys. We have to have some serious talks. But Islam Makhachev, if he doesn't win at 170 and drops back down to 155, I think he will reclaim his title. Let's keep it rolling. Here we go, guys. If you're thinking I'm just naming fighters to retain their titles, here's some differentiality. Don't even know if that was a word, but here for featherweight, as much as I would love to see Volkanovski reign for another 10 years, it's not happening. It's not happening, guys. Because there's a man in the woods and his name is Long John Silva. Somebody edit that, bro. That was tough. That was tough. Somebody make an edit out of that, please. But John Silva, he's too good, bro. I'm not going to lie. John Silva is too good. Volkanovski, here's the thing about Volkanovski. He looked good. He beat Diego Lopez, which is probably going to become an underrated win. But he beat Diego Lopez. He just did not look the same. He did not look like a prime Volkanovski. Volkanovski's still good. He's not as fast as he once was. He's not as slick as he once was, man. And his chin's not the same. It really is not. John Silva hits like a truck. Very, very good striker. Showcased very, very good grappling as well and anti-grappling. He submitted Bryce Mitchell, man. Who does that to Bryce Mitchell? but John Silva, very physical. This is a strong featherweight. Now, I'm not saying he's stronger than Volkanovski. Volkanovski, he's got that old man strength. He's very, very strong for the division. But if he were to match up with John Silva, I think John Silva knocks him out, sadly. I do. Now, Volkanovski could beat a Movsar Evloev. That's a tough fight. That's a fight I do want to see. I trust in Volkanovski's anti-grappling. I trust in the fight IQ. I trust in the cardio and the experience there. Just because Evloev doesn't have necessarily that power to knock out Volk. I mean, maybe this will age poorly and he does do that. I hope not. I really, really hope not. But John Silva does. John Silva is a much cleaner striker than a Diego Lopez with probably similar power, I would say. But John Silva, I think he's a real problem at 145. I think he has an easier time with the Volkanovski rather than a Movsar Evloev, but I think he still probably wins both of those matchups. And then what are we looking at? Yair? Yair's not beating Volk or John Silva or Movsar, so I don't even want to talk about Yair. But let's move on to the Bantamweight division, bro. Umar Nurmagomedov. Yep, I know what you're thinking. I know what y'all are thinking, guys. I'm a psychic. Where is Merab? I need y'all to bear with me, okay? If Umar were to fight Merab today, would he win? I'm going to say no. Even though their first fight was actually very, very competitive, I've seen some people argue that Umar even won the fight. I can see the argument. I don't agree, but Umar 100% won rounds 1 and 2 and was on his way to winning the 5th round until Merab started emoting. Merab took over in the last 1 minute, maybe last minute of the fight, took control and ultimately won the fight. If they were to rematch, I would go with Merab right now. Merab's coming off some of his best performances of his career. He looks great. He looks like he's getting better. But guys, this is by the end of 2026. This is a year and a half from now. Merab Dvalishvili is a very active fighter. He's going to fight one more time this year. He says he wants to fight 2 more times this year. I don't know if we're going to get that, but it looks like Merab is going to defend his title against Corey Sandhagen, and I believe he wins that fight. So let's just say hypothetically Merab fights one more time this year and then 3 times next year. So you're saying you think Merab is going to rack up 4 more title defenses before somebody finally beats him, guys. I'm just saying. Obviously, the bantamweight division, nobody has showcased that they could beat Merab outside of Umar. This is his toughest test. But a year and a half from now, 4 extra fights, that's a lot of fights, man. By that point, Merab would have what? 6 title defenses, maybe? 5 or 6 title defenses? If Merab does that, first of all, he will have the record for longest win streak in UFC history. And then he will have the best resume, arguably, of all time. I'm not even mad if you think Merab Dvalishvili is the GOAT at that point. The GOAT of the sport, yes, over John Jones, man. Over Sean Combs, even over Sean Holmes. But in a year and a half's time, Umar Nurmagomedov, I do believe, is going to bounce back. I think he could fight a guy like Song Yadong later this year. Showcase improvements on his cardio. He's only going to be getting better, in my opinion. I think Merab is going to slowly start slowing down, hopefully. Or not hopefully, I don't wish, the worst on Merab, but you think he's not human, bro. You think he's going to slow down eventually? Maybe not. I wouldn't even be surprised if he doesn't. But in a year and a half's time, Merab is either going to make a jump to featherweight or he's going to have lost the title, maybe even retired. Those are 3 options. So in a year and a half's time, if Merab is still the champion, I will be very, very surprised. And I think there's only, well, I'm not even going to say there's only one option because if Merab is out of the picture, let's say he retires or leaves the division, you still have guys like Sean O'Malley. I know what you're thinking, man. Sean O'Malley, he's washed. Stop. Please stop. Merab versus Sean O'Malley 2 is getting, I don't even know, bro. People are acting like Sean O'Malley's washed. What? That was probably the best version of Sean O'Malley we have possibly ever seen. I know. Merab is just that good. Sean O'Malley showed improvements in their second fight. He looked good in rounds 1 through 2. Not so much in round 3. But Sean O'Malley looked good. He showed improvements. He looked like he was in the fight. Merab is just that good where Sean O'Malley showcased a lot of skill, a lot of improvements, and it still was not enough to win either of the rounds. That's just how good Merab Dvalishvili is. But in a year and a half time, I don't think he's still going to be around. I don't think he's going to be with the title in the bantamweight division. Again, if he is, we have to have some serious talks about him being the GOAT. I think Umar is the rightful next heir to the throne. Let's go ahead and wrap it up with Flyweight. Alexandre Pantoja is the current UFC champion who looks pretty much unbeatable right now. He's got a fight coming up next week against Kai France. Tough fight. I do believe Pantoja is going to get his hand raised. But this is kind of similar to the Merab one. Pantoja's 35 years old, I believe. So in a year and a half's time, he's going to be 37 or almost 37. Statistics say that these older champions, these older fighters don't perform as well in these lower weight classes. Brandon Royval is young. He's in his prime. He has showcased the ability to beat everybody in the division except for Pantoja. And by the year 2026, by the end of 2026, January 2027, whatever you want to say, I think Brandon Royval is going to have gold wrapped around his waist. He's got a fight coming up, a very important fight coming up with Joshua Van. As much as I love Joshua Van, I would love to see him become champion by 2026. I would love to put him here. I think it's too much of a step up in competition for Joshua Van right now. I think Brandon Royval is going to show levels. He's going to piece him up. And he's going to fight for the title once again. Now, whether that's against Pantoja, Kai France, I don't know. Again, I mean, this will be his 3rd crack at Pantoja. 3rd time's the charm, man. I'm just saying Pantoja potentially could make a jump to bantamweight, try to become double champ. Because if he beats Kai France, I don't see the UFC trying to sell Royval versus Pantoja 3. I just don't see that. Now, if Joshua Van were to defeat Royval, I do see them doing Joshua Van versus Pantoja before letting Pantoja move up. But I think Pantoja is either going to retire on top or move to the Bantamweight division in a year and a half's time. But anyway, guys, these are my predictions, 100% accuracy of who I think are going to be the UFC champions by the end of 2026. Let me know in the comments what you agree with. Let me know what you disagree with, man. And be sure to hit that like button, comment something for the algorithm, turn the post notifications on, man. You do not want to miss a live stream. Starting next week, we're doing a UFC 5 tournament on stream starting on Tuesday. So you do not want to miss out, man. I appreciate y'all once again, and we out.